This meeting is being recorded.
Good afternoon to one and all present over here for this webinar. So, on behalf of Entrepreneurship Development Cell and Institutions Innovation Council of VPKBIET Baramati, I, Dr. Jyoti Rangole, welcome all of you for the session, motivational session for expressing the journey of an entrepreneur or a startup founder. Hello, hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes. So it is very well said that the initial phase of the startup journey is a roller coaster ride, but he or she has to hold himself or herself very tight to enjoy this startup journey. So today we have with us Mr. Bhupesh Kumbhar, who is a founder and MD of Zencon Infotech Pvt Limited. He will be sharing his startup journey. He will be sharing his experience related with the various industries in which he has worked and how he started his startup journey, what were the challenges he will be discussing with us. So it is very well said that listening to the success story of the startup will motivate you, but we have to also listen to the failure stories which will make you to not repeat the mistakes that the previous people have done. So I welcome Bhupesh sir on behalf of VPKBIET. I welcome you sir for this session. So let me take an opportunity to introduce you to Mr. Bhupesh. Mr. Bhupesh, he is currently working as founder and MD of Zencon Infotech Pvt Limited, which is a SaaS service and product-based company. He has 22 years of wide experience in the domain of automobile, FMCG, healthcare, and oil and electronics. So I want to highlight here that he is a mechanical engineer, but still he is working in the domain of electronics. So he has worked with various reputed organizations like Bajaj Auto, Satyam Computers, Tech Mahindra, and he has worked with the reputed clients like Unilever, Qatar Petroleum, Philips in Netherlands, and he has worked in various roles such as purchase officer, logistic in charge, business analyst, SAP consultant, test manager, and test automation. So I welcome you, sir, for this session, and I hand over the session to you. So I'm sure that our students will truly get motivated listening to your startup journey. Over to you, sir. Hello.
Hello, sorry. Am I audible? Sorry, I was
yes.
on mute.
Yeah.
So,
you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jyoti, for this brief introduction. It's been a quite eventful journey, and where we stand as of now, it was not an easy one. But there are a lot of interesting, how do you say, events or incidences which occur, and because of that, I could learn a lot, and I could also make difference in certain people's life. So I'm pretty sure that being a young generation, you're also aspiring to achieve something in life, professionally as well as on a personal front. So where do I start? Whatever you see today has a kind of a history of around 20 to 25 different uh, years of experiences, personal as well as professional. Like Jyoti said, I started with as a mechanical engineer, just like you people, wherein I passed out from Wadia College, and I got selected for Bajaj Auto. Typically in India, we don't have any specialized courses for some other functions like purchase and finance and whatever regular streams we have. we go through them and you start to become a shadow, wherein you learn a lot of things on the job. Like, for example, I was selected for purchase. I don't know whether it was fortunate or unfortunate, but the domain which I was not knowing at all, which had a lot of commercial touch, but of course, it also required a lot of technical insights. Now, when I say I accidentally entered to purchase, because the sole goal that time when I completed my diploma and I wanted to um, pursue my education, so the attraction was the generalship offered by a commercial department, wherein I did not wanted to go for a job which has shifts and I am not able to focus on whatever I want to learn in future. But what you call this particular opportunity came to me. I was very suspicious when I started it, but slowly, I started getting exposed to many different avenues. Uh, Typically, what happens once you join an industry and let's say you join a particular shop, you might become and very expert in that particular area. Let's take, for example, somebody is working in a machining shop or somebody working in and very specific manufacturing processes. After 10, 12 years, he might become a very expert in that particular field and can exhibit his knowledge and skills. But life is not about having a specialization. It is more about testing life on different fronts. So when I joined Purchase, I started getting exposed to various different uh, business processes, then commercial activities as well as engineering activities. At the same time, I started getting exposed to many different vendors, their working styles, as well as their manufacturing processes, which I might have not got if I would have in a very typical department like production, manufacturing, or design department, wherein other mechanical engineers were aspiring it. So I would not say it's a quite an informed decision. It was an accident, but I think that accident happened. I mean, was a turning point in my life. Now, once I started that journey, uh, initially it was quite struggle because in colleges I don't know what is current situation. I think you get a lot of exposures and seminars like today, wherein you are able to hear to industry experts and many other skill level people, wherein it gets rub on to you. But in our days, it was a very traditional education system wherein even submission we used to do on a last day. I'm pretty sure that you might be having a very similar journey, but those days there was no industry exposure. There was nothing. Industry was very less. So the only what you call uh, quite excellent people used to get breakthrough through campus and they used to have an automatic selection. Otherwise, other people used to struggle a lot for job opportunity. Now things have changed, but because of this particular venture, I started getting into many other areas, and I started talking to many different people. Uh, I was talking to director. I was talking to many big people in the organization of my vendors. At the same time, being in a supply chain, I used to also connect with lot many other departments, and I was also talking to a driver and cleaner and that kind of fraternity, wherein you get to know lot many different behavioral patterns, the kind of people, and at the same time, when you come into touch with some great personalities, because they are running an industry or they are running a business, everybody has something special in them, right? And in those early days, I got exposed, or let's say that particular habit of each and everyone got rubbed onto me. There are certain special habits each and every successful person has in his life. For example, somebody is very punctual, somebody is very, very technically expert, somebody is very good at people, public relationship. And because of that, they start believing on that particular virtue of them, and see that they practice that for a lifetime. And like I said, I was fortunate that I got exposed to many such personalities. Somebody was very good at business skills, somebody was very good at technical skills, somebody was a very good businessman, somebody was quite principled, and somebody was also knowing the trade of the business, but they had a very different kind of working. So this everything was getting accumulated, knowingly or unknowingly, which I'm not pretty sure that that time I was aware or not. But being learning in a learning phase, there are a lot of things I was also able to acquire and started getting signed into my department to start with. Just because you are experimental, you have a passion for something and you want to do good in life, uh, working hours or subject was not a concern for me. Something which I am doing for an year, I used to get disinterested in that particular topic, and I used to look for something else. And because of that, I started getting multi-skilled, and that also helped me in my organization, to myself and also to organization. So they started putting me in a different roles and profiles which I never tried. The bad part of it, this was that I used to hold my old portfolio and started getting added new portfolios. So this really become an hectic venture for me, and I was not knowing how do I do it, how do I handle that kind of pressure and that kind of a load. To give an example, when I joined in purchase, I was only merely handling 20 parts, and when I was handling 20 parts, still 24 hours was not good enough for me, because those were critical parts and I was following up. I was not having an experience, so I was also committing a lot of mistakes. But at one point of time, I said I need to overcome this. So how do we do it? So there are a lot of understanding, knowledge you need to acquire. That is something we people will not give you directly. And in those closed doors, in those days, people is to hold knowledge to their close to their heart, and very seldomly they used to relieve to others. So we have to really have to try hard to get that particular knowledge from those kind of people. And when you earn their trust, you spend time with them, and slowly they started relieving that particular knowledge bank to us. Today the scenario has changed. I mean, you have Google and you have so many other avenues. You don't have to wait for somebody to guide you or mentor you. Of course that helps, but today you that is not a barrier. Earlier that used to be a barrier. To break that barrier, sometimes you used to spend a lot of time, and at the end of 10 years or 20 years you will accumulate something. Today I think you can also acquire the same thing in, let's say, 3 years or 5 years, depending on your passion and depending on your hard work. So that was the start, and that is where I started finding solution for myself to make my life better, or let's say easier. But the problem was, because I was reducing my load and I was starting getting into systems and trying to organize certain processes around my work, my workload has not reduced, but I my capability to handle load become better. And that is why when the portfolios were getting added to me, I was still at ease. And as you get exposed to more different functional areas and more functions into organization, you also start understanding relationship between each other. What are the dependencies? Because you then become multifaceted. And once you become multifaceted, you would like to research more, you like to understand more, and then life becomes interesting. I was in Bajaj for 12 years. Now, this 12 years, somebody might say, oh, it was only one company, and how every 3 years my portfolio used to get changed. And that made my life quite interesting. I was quite learned. The moment I stopped learning from Bajaj Auto, or it was quite repetitive, uh, I decided to move on and venture into something else I never tried. So that is how the first break. So in the last 3 years of Bajaj Auto career, SAP also opted for SAP, and because I was already in systems and doing project management and lot many portfolios, I was a key contributor to SAP's SAP Bajaj Auto success in SAP implementation. That gave me a confidence to venture into specialized IT systems, which I was quite fascinated. So this particular urge or liking was from the beginning. Although I was mechanical engineer and I was trying to also find certain solutions in that field, but my inclination was always towards IT. So it was never that it's a lucrative field and I may get a lot of money, and that was never a focus. It was more about liking and something I was not enjoying when I was in Bajaj Auto, because I was playing different roles which of a different interest, and I was always interested in systems, and I started getting less time because of this workload. So one fine day I decided to change my career to SAP. Today I have 12 different certifications in SAP, right from PP, MM, SD, warehouse management, ABAP. I mean, the list is long. Now, as Jyoti madam was saying that there is a lot of failures while we have this all successes and you get to know there are a lot of downsides also. So when I left Bajaj Auto, I got certified in MM. I given at least 60 different interviews and I was not getting selected. Now it was not a capability issue, or it was not also communication issue, or there are phases in life wherein you see, it seems that nothing is working. So everywhere I used to get clear in interviews. I used to get a lot of technical ratings. Well, people used to appreciate. Suddenly, one point of time, my education is to come in between, or somebody used to say, "Oh, you are working in user industry. Now you have to work somewhere in a consulting industry. Then we'll absorb you." Many strange and funny things happened, and wherein I they could not pinpoint where I'm going wrong. So I think it was the only time wherein that was not right, I would say. So as I left the job and trying to find another job in a very different field, it is not that I was not knowing it, I was not having knowledge about it. It is simply sometimes you have to just have a persistence and you have to be patient enough to get out of it. One fine day, I got a job in Mumbai. Right, it was Autos Origin. I went there. They joined me. They given me announcement letter. They also gave me accommodation. The next day, I joined office, and the person I was supposed to report, he asked me, "What is your skill set?" And I said, "Of course, SAP MM is what I have done." And he said, "What because I need a functional guy. I have asked my HR department to give me and then HR called.
Hello, hello. Sir, you are not audible. Hello, hello.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes,
I
yes.
think it was a disconnect in between. Okay. So I got a call from Malaysia. I got selected, and they offer me 3 times salary than what I was used to get in Bajaj Auto after 12 years. The problem was I met an accident the next day. The moment I got cleared, I and they said you have to join Malaysia after 2 weeks, and third week you need to travel to South Africa for a project. I said, boss, I am injured. I cannot travel, and traveling for the first time outside India.
We'll wait for a minute.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm at a client location, so I'm not sure of the range here available, but I think now I'm audible, right? Hello.
Yes, sir. You're audible now.
Okay, okay. So I'm taking a bit time to explain this part because that time I had a huge depression. Is it something wrong with me? What is why God is only playing with me? Wherein, see, if you have some shortcomings and you know there is something you need to work, I would have worked. But I never got a feedback from anybody that you're wrong somewhere or this is something you're lagging. Then I was not knowing, everybody says, oh, you're fine, you're good, you are great, or whatever. But finally, the result was zero. And that particular phase taught me a lot in my life. And one fine day, I got a call from Satyam in Mumbai, and they selected me. Everything was fine. And like I said, finally they said, but now I was so ready for all this kind of stuff. So I said, okay, now there is some but, so it means there is something wrong. Now they called me, the HR called me and they said, boss, you once you join, you cannot leave for 2 years. Second thing is, you will not go outside India for, you have to be based in Pune. We will not send you in some other location for 2 years. And it will be in Pune near Wadia, where I was studying my B mechanical. And my father was not well, so I had to stay in Pune during that period. And I had to also complete my education, so I could not move anywhere else. So these were the conditions which was I was supposed to put on them. They put me, and so which is the organization who assures you job for 2 years and say, oh, you have to stay in Pune and you cannot move anywhere else. That something was in favor of me, so I accepted a job. And my college was next to my office. It is just one road in between. So I completed my graduation. I completed my MBA from there, Then I also completed information technology post graduation. And finally, one fine day they said, "Oh, you need to travel now." Till that point of time, I had so many overseas opportunities. Again, it was getting denied, or some other reason it was not getting materialized. And then I started traveling. From that day to next 12 years, I was traveling to various different countries, and till now I have traveled to around 75 different countries and 60 countries wherein I had to stay longer than 6 months. And there are certain countries wherein I had to stay more than 2 years. So the point is, never underestimate yourself, right? There are certain times which are not good for you or bad for you. You have to persist and you have to work on your skills. See, ultimately, skills is that what is sold. Then it can be a communication skill, it can be your technical skill, it can be your people skill, or many other skills which you need to work upon. It will You will not acquire they in these skills in a day. You have to persistent about it and never lose hope, because certain things you see in life and you say, "Oh, this is the end of it. There is nothing bad can happen than this." But as you go down, there is always an upward movement. It cannot be downward further, right? Only thing is you have to have patience, and sometimes you have to let the time pass. And with this particular journey of all over globe, and trying to find different customers and managing them worldwide in 160 countries and 75 countries and 80 countries, kind of a rollout, also given me a lot of other exposures which typically global visions requires. But again, I was working for an Indian company, so typically it was more focused on delivery and not on innovation and other things. So like I said, if nothing changes for a year, I used to get uneasy. Here I worked for 5 years, wherein I had all the luxuries at my disposal. uh, I was supposed to get a green card for Europe. When I left Europe, uh, it was only 3 months which left. If I would have stayed there a bit longer, I would have been a European citizen. But I always wanted to come back. That was always there. That urge was there. And one fine day, what happened is, me and my wife was talking to each other, and she was sitting next to me and talking for 20 minutes continuously. She wanted to share something, right? Uh, there were a lot of things which she wanted to speak to me or talk to me, and I was busy in laptop. So after 20 minutes, she asked me, "Do you remember what I said in last 20 minutes, or do you can you recall anything from our conversation?" And that day I realized, no, I don't think if we are not able to give time to our dear ones, there's no use of it. And one fine day I asked her, "Can you sustain me for next 6 months?" She said, "Yes, I was working before I married to you. So I can always take care of you, and our needs and requirements are not that much. So we can always survive." I came back to India. I did not do anything for a year. I wanted to get detoxed with all this industry garbage and lot of. Uh, Sometimes you have to also do unlearning. It is very important that you learn certain things, and then it's very difficult to let it go. Unless you clear your slate, you cannot learn new things. And that time I was not worried about future, what will happen. I was always believing on my capabilities and what I can do in life. But I was searching, I wanted to take some time. So I took that time. One fine day, like I said, as things go wrong, sometimes also things come together. There were certain friends of mine from earlier organizations. They were also got fed up with this particular routine job. They said, "Oh, I'm thinking of something." And some reference we got together and we said, "Okay, we always wanted to do this." So in 2017, I founded this company called Zencon Infotech Pvt. Uh, this year we are into fifth year. On 8th of this month, we celebrated our 5th annual day. Uh, we have around 48 different customers all over India. We do a lot of niche stuff. We work in SAP primarily, but again, that is an aid to achieve certain goals. We primarily consult on business end. We try to simplify things. We automate a lot. We do a lot of innovation, and the team we selected is also, we say that they should be open for new technologies, new ideas, and basically that should be a thinking team. It is not something you give a work and they just will execute. They will also put their thinking hat on and try to enjoy the work. So it should not be become rhythm. So if 80% or 60% of your time is spending on a particular workplace, that workplace has to be enjoyable, because although it is bread and butter for you, but if you're spending that much part of your entire lifetime, that if that is not enjoyable, there is no point in staying there. So like Steve Jobs always says, please keep on looking for your what is your liking, what is that you want. Hobby and liking and passion are two different things. People think that hobby is something to be done in your spare time. I would say it's the other way around. You should do your regular stuff in the remaining time, and you should pursue whatever your aspirations are, whatever your likings are, because that keeps you going, that keeps you fresh, that keeps you uh, lively, and life becomes interesting because you are living your dream. So always think big, dream big, and there is no shortcut for hard work. There is no shortcut for success. The hard work, you are, like I said, you do what you love, and finally trying to be multifaceted. People say there are five things you should always change: your profession, your place of living, uh, your relationships. More and more you get exposed to different things, more and more complete people person you become. I think that exposure nobody is going to give you. It is you people have to go ahead and taste the wine. If we don't do it, there are very few things. There are a lot of people who will teach you wrong things. Right things you have to try on yourself. At the same time, you have to see that you are having a good company. Don't stay in a negative people's company. The more you stay in positive people, that rubs on to you, you are able to create something positive. There is a lot of strength in positive energy or positive thinking, because your companionship, your surrounding decides what you are going to become, and the surrounding you choose, nobody else. It is your own choice in what company I would like to stay. And like I said, key, you should always have an hunger. The moment you lose that hunger, the life becomes disinteresting. So if you look at any, be it Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli or whatever, as long as they have the hunger in them, they will perform better. The moment it becomes routine, it becomes quite casual, and you do not feel from inside, I think that is where people start less performing. And now there is an environment wherein economy is opening up. There is a lot of good things happening in India. India is no more a third world country. Now, I mean, Apple phone get launched into India first and then elsewhere else. So there are a lot of things there. But what we lack today is still we want to follow someone. We don't want to become leader. For example, why somebody doesn't have a Facebook and evolve in India? I think in Facebook or Google or Microsoft, they're all Indian people, right? But they trust in making somebody else big. The moment they think, oh, I have to do it, they will not do it. They will always require a security umbrella. But like I said, the more risk you have, more returns you have, more success you have. The reason behind not taking risks is because in India, failure is still treated as a nemesis, right? If the moment you fail, people are after you. That, but if you don't fail in life, you don't learn anything. When I was getting finance for this particular company, the first question the investor asked me, "Have you failed in life?" I said many times. Then he said, "Okay, you have my coverage or you have my money." And he didn't ask me anything else. What you have achieved and what is your success. He said, "Unless you don't fail, you don't learn. You will not be able to achieve greater heights. To achieve greater heights, first you have to fall in the lower places. The more you fail at early stages, there are more chances to become more and more successful. So I am pretty sure that you people will have a greater energy and you will have those kind of aspirations, wherein don't only look for jobs or don't look for a survival. These are temporary phases. There are a lot of situations in life that you say, no, no, I have to do compromise and all. You cannot live your life in complete compromise. There are certain situations where you have to compromise, but please avoid bigger compromises. You have only one life. The people you want to please today, they will, the moment you try to please everyone, you will not be able to live your life and people are still going to be unhappy. So it is better way that you make certain tougher calls in life, try to make it and try to make justice with whatever decision you are making because you are responsible for it. Second, a bad myth is that people think, oh, I am giving commitment to somebody, that means I have to keep it. When you say you are giving commitment to somebody else, it is not commitment towards him, it is commitment to yourself, because you have to commit yourself. The moment you commit to yourself, the onus is more and you are able to achieve more, right? So I think I can keep on going. uh, I would like to stop here. There are a lot of things which I would like to discuss, and I would have loved to have this session in face to face or in person. Some other day we will have this session, but I am done here. If anybody has a questions or some kind of queries, or I think floor is open.
Uh, yes, sir. So, sir, can you please turn on your camera?
Okay, I will turn. I try to turn on because my bandwidth is lesser, so I
Okay.
am switching it off. 1 minute. Let me try it. Open it.
Right. So, if
1 minute.
yeah, yes, sir. If the participants
You
are
are able to
having
see.
queries, you can just post your questions. So,
Yeah, sure.
yes, sir. There is a question in the chat box. Shubham Sarodey,
Uh-huh.
he is asking
Mm-hmm.
how to stay. I think how to stay focused, how to pay more
Focused.
attention. Yeah, study. Uh, if you
Mm.
are distracting again because something is nothing happens good in your life. So he want to know how
Okay.
to stay focused.
I get his point. The point is, it is a very good question. I appreciate that. I think
Shubham.
the point is here, like I said, the moment you start doing something interesting, which you think interesting, the same thing might not be interesting to somebody else. See, when you say stay focused on studies, and the study doesn't give you a pleasure, or let's say it is not of now to your liking, it is a curriculum which you have selected, which does not in tune with what you want to do in life, then it is always going to be an external force is required to stay focused. But if you are studying something which is of your liking or which is of your passion, you don't have to look for any external motivation. It will come within inside, right? And like I said, some particular success takes time. It will not come easy, and you have to only trust on yourself that one day I am going to make it. I will give a very classic example of Nawazuddin Siddiqui, for example. People know that he's a very good actor today and he's having time of his life, and last 4 5 years he's enjoying a lot of success. But do you know, last 20 years he is working in industry and nobody was knowing it, right? But he kept that particular passion going on because that is what he wanted to do. And when he was asked, ki, sir, when you are failing so miserably for 20 years, then why don't you change your track? Why don't you try something else? His simple question was, मुझे यही आता था और मुझे यही करना था. सक्सेस आए या ना आए वो ये बात की बात है, बट दिस इज समथिंग आई वांटेड टू डू इन लाइफ and this is what I wanted to do. So there's no question of whether I get a success or not success, right? And because of that community today, we say he's doing a lot of realistic roles. His acting is fantabulous and excellent and everything. He has lived that life for last 20 years when nobody was knowing him. And I always give an example of an let's say a Chinese bamboo tree, wherein for first 3 years it is below the soil. Nobody notices it, and suddenly in fourth or fifth year, it actually touches to the skies, and people say, "Oh, last 2 years he has grown up." Nobody notices his struggle or an isolation. Before that, in 3 years, it was happening and growing, and he was progressing. So success will come at one point if you are prepared. If you constantly work on certain things, things will started falling in place. I'll tell you, when I started this Zencon and not getting anything, there were a lot of problems. It is not again. I had that experience of attending interviews for 50 times. I said this phase will also pass. Suddenly, again, COVID came and we did not had orders for last 2 years, and we didn't know we shall we close down. What do we do about it? But we kept on persisting. We kept on increasing our strength. We kept on working our what is to be needed in the future. While we are not getting it, we were not sitting idle and not kept worrying about it. We said, while we do a normal business, you are a lot of busy with day-to-day activities and you are not able to create something which you want to build for future. Now nature has given you this kind of a vacation wherein you can work on those silently and coolly and make it big, which you always wanted to do. So hibernation is also an activity to accumulate. For example, when a farmer sows his seeds during summer, when he doesn't know whether it is going to rain or not going to rain, or am I going to succeed, am I going to get a good crop, will the rain will be there, he will not be able to reap that crop, right, at the Diwali season or something. So he is working when something is not really right and the season is not favorable, because when it's okay, oh, there is a rain and there is everything is all right, and then I will start it, he'll not be able to get a crop, isn't it? Very similarly, when you have very low days or very high intensity days wherein you are not, nothing is working for you, you need to work on your skills, your capabilities, and you still need to believe on your ability. I think and ability is very important. This kind of setbacks makes you more and tougher. And many people say, why me? I would say, I mean, there's the other answer that you are special, and that is why people, God has selected you for those kind of situations. The moment you go those tougher situations, you are able to build your ability to focus on a larger challenges. The people who don't go through it always struggle, right? You hear about lot of what you call suicides and everything, because they are mentally weak. They never train themselves to pass that particular phase and come over again. Life will not end, right? The it is your own mental barrier which makes you limited to certain tasks. It is limitless, right? And it's not, I'm not just saying this for motivation or whatever. This is something I have gone through. The more you trust, more you believe, and more hard work you do to do that. You take anybody's example, we just see their last success point and we say, oh, he has got everything. but nobody remembers his 10 years what he has spent to come to that particular level. So you always think that you are contributing towards success, which you are going to get in future. And the kind of commitment you will have and kind of hard work you will put, there are very few cases wherein people fail. When people give up, maybe the next moment is of their success, but people don't realize and they just pull it off.
Right.
Right? So I think that is the only way, and you have to have passion. There is no other way.
Right. Very true, sir. Dushyant Doshi, he has a question. When we have a product idea
Yeah.
in mind, when we have a product idea in mind,
Hmm.
then how to analyze the market and plan
Hmm.
towards manufacturing for the same, and how to plan the
Okay.
strategy or the path.
See, I think there are certain skills required at a certain point of time. I mean, sometimes what happens is we think too much about the future and we think about the goal. We also should enjoy the journey of whatever is happening. You don't know what is going to get clicked. So if you are into product development stage, you need to get convinced about it. Yeah, this is the right thing I am doing. Of course, you need to test market and you need to see the opportunity, everything. But that is something will come later. First, you have to see I have an idea which has some kind of a weightage. It is going to make a difference. And how do we do it? There are two, three ways of evaluating this product idea. One is how many life you are going to touch with that particular product. So, is it made for masses? Is it made for classes? Or is it made for the medicure? For example, you can become a billionaire by selling $1 product to million people, right? You can become millionaire. The second part is you have such a niche idea, less people use it, but your product selling price is so much, you can still become a billionaire. So every time you don't have to have a bigger idea. You can have a simple idea, but this is should be the need of many different people. For example, let's take an Uber or Ola or any Zomato. What they do, they are selling a less cost product, but they are touching many millions of life, and that is how they have become big. And there are some niche skill products wherein you may require investment, you require a team, you may require a lot of friends to help you because you cannot be expert in all areas. It may take a time to sell it, but the moment you are solving a very specific problem which anybody cannot solve, you are still going to have a market. So you have to evaluate a product in such a way that what am I trying to do here, and based on that you have to take next steps.
Right.
So for example, when we started this particular SAP product, there are hundreds of companies who give the SAP services and everything. And I just don't want to be another rat race. I just don't want to be enter into a rat race. He also does it. I also does it. The problem is then you have a competition, and somebody says, "Oh, if you are doing some product in 1 lakh, I will do it in 50,000," because you have options. The moment I say I am exclusive, and people say nobody else gives it, he's only going to come to you, right? So for that, you have to be innovative. You have to be constantly updating the market, how it is happening, what it is going, and how this is going to change the game. So there are certain game changers, and like I said, there are certain common small problems, but you are solving in a big way. Jyoti?
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
One more question from Anurag. When you look back to your journey of life,
Mm-hmm.
what is the thing that keeps you motivated?
Now, this is very important questions, and I would appreciate Anurag for asking this. There are two ways of you have limited memory, right? Everybody has a limited memory, and to create a space, what you have to do? You have to wipe it out. Now you have two choices. Either you wipe out good memories or bad memories. The problem with our people is that when you say I gained the experience, I always remember what has wrong happened with me. Somebody cheated me, somebody has betrayed me. I did not do the thing wrong, because it is going to give you pain. It you suffer from a sorrow. You tend to remember those things, and what happens is then you start accumulating everything garbage into your box. Then there is no place for storing good memories. And like I said, you have a limited memory, so you have to choose and pick what to believe and what to not. So for example, if I have a bad experience with certain people, I don't particularly force that on a new person कि दुनिया ऐसी ही है, एक ने मुझे किया था, I will also not trust him. It is not that person's fault. Of course, I'll be cautious enough, but I will not let myself contaminated. And that is the one thing that has worked for me a lot. Like I said, I also had a bad experiences. I also had a good experiences, but I try to remember good experiences with people, with colleagues, with some environment, and I see that I am able to make that positive contribution to the life. Ultimately, at the end of life, what are going to remember? The life is all about creating pleasure moments. Everybody wants pleasure. Nobody wants to have or remember bad memories or mishaps or something wrong. But while we say that, but we still remember those things. We don't remember that I applied brake here, that is why I was safe and I did not have accident. What we remember is, oh, I had an accident there and I lost my foot. Because that causes you pain. And pleasure moment, what you do, that will give temporary, let's say, pleasure, but then it never tend to remember. But I would rather say this way, oh, these are the good things if I do regularly, or if I practice that, I have good life. So I always who help me, I have a gratitude for them. They will also have, and certain things take time. I mean, there are certain incidents in my life wherein I have to persist. I mean, I had a very different opinion about certain people, but as we go along and we persisted for longer period of time, we realize these people are gems. And if I would have gone their face values, I might have lost those kind of people who made me survive in my bad days or good days, whatever are there. And to whatever I am there today, it is because of them. So I think we have to have that gratitude. Today, that gratitude and that kindness is missing, or people are too much materialistic. But I will tell you that certain stages of your life you will realize those really matters less, and these other virtues, be it a commitment or your principles, you have to have certain virtues because that's good. Yeah. Next.
Right, right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sir,
Gavandi sir.
Hello.
yes. Sir, getting the funding for a newly startup founder, it is a major concern for every startup founder. So, how you have raised the fund during your initial days of startup?
I disagree with this. There are people.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello, Gavandi sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Sir is not audible, I think.
I think some network issue is there. He will join, sir. Just will wait.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello.
So with all respect, I think. Hello. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
You're audible. Hello.
Okay. So, I mean, with all due respect, what I've seen after this particular journey of mine, that there are people who are interested in you. They are dying to invest in you. It is just they don't find that uniqueness or that particular promise in your product. Because we are so passionate about it, we do it. We think, oh, I think what excellent. While we need to trust ourselves, we also need to the moment you have a view,
Hello, hello, Bhupesh sir, you are not audible. I think there might be some range issue. Bhupesh sir, hello, hello.
yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. I think
Yeah. Okay.
there is much range issue at your end.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm at a very remote place. So bear with me.
Yeah,
I was saying
yes,
that there are different sources. There are high net worth individuals who, if they find idea or meter in your idea, even thinking about the result, if you again, it is not the product. I will again reiterate: they invest in people. They will find potential in you, not in product and what is the state of that product today. So you have to have that particular hunger, passion, and you should be able to convince investor that it is not about this product. I am here to succeed. Product may change, but the person will remain same. People will invest in you and not the product. There are a lot of people think he is raw, but tomorrow he is going to be more if we somebody will give us seed capital. There are various ways now. Banks provide it. There is something called as crowdfunding, wherein people invest in small, but the crowd is large, so you can get that. There are a lot of high net worth individuals who also buy it, or let's say there are venture capitalists. But like I said, the higher the hierarchy, they will expect you more from you, and sometimes you get bogged down by that particular nagging in you because you want to grow, you want to experiment. The more and more you start getting investor in, your freedom is gone.
right.
So you should only step into funding when you really require it. Before that, you can do a lot of things which can be still managed by small funds. Because
Right.
more and more people are going to invest in you, they will have to expect return from you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I have a question. When you decided to move on from a industry to a startup, how
Huh?
you identified a problem, or how you reach to your customer? Because
Okay.
your journey might be somewhat different because you were having huge industry experience, but for the
Mm-hmm.
students who enter into the startup, it will become more challenging situation for them to identify a problem or to reach to the customer.
Okay. So there are two things. Like I said, without passion, you cannot do anything. So you cannot say this is the need in the market, and I would like to
Right,
do it, which you don't like.
right,
So
right,
that first thing is that it has to be conviction from your side that something I want to do only in this particular field, or I want to do this. That particular drive will take you to the next level. So that
right.
liking, identifying your liking is very, very important than the product.
Yes,
Once you do that, you will find the ways how to get around it. Right?
yes,
Second thing, like I said, this even though I started this startup 5 years back, again, my relationship, my networking,
right, right.
I nurture certain relationship bondings, and also
Yes,
the knowledge that helped me to have a confidence that I can do something on my own in my life. And
okay,
it is still late in that sense. I'm in my late 40s. Like I said, don't worry about failures. Today, people what they do, if I start something, it has to succeed. Guys, don't believe on that.
right,
The more early you succeed, the more bigger success you are going to have. So
right,
don't think about the result and what will happen and how will happen. Please fail. Fail multiple times, learn from that, and try to take a bigger steps. It is not a 1 year journey or 2 year journey.
Yes.
It is a journey for a lifetime. Wherein the product may change, but the person is the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, sir. Sir, right now government of India is giving so much funding for the startups, and
Correct.
they have also made the higher education institutes to nurture the innovation, entrepreneurship, and startup culture at the campus itself. So government of
Right.
India or state of Maharashtra, they are coming up with many handsome policies related with the startup. So what's the message that you would
Absolutely.
like to give to our students so that they could be really motivated to start their startup journey when they are pursuing their graduation? What is the message that you would
Okay.
like to give to them?
So what would happen is, like I said, when you talk about particular career or a profession or a startup, whatever, you have to look beyond your curriculum. You cannot stick to your curriculum. Of course, that is a curriculum which you have to pass. You have to pass with a great grades. Today, there are so many resources, right, from the funding and everything. For example, somebody says, "Oh, I was learning Android," for example, and course has a fixed curriculum. People only end up doing that. But
Right,
today you have so much of resources available, and if you're really passionate about something, you need to start upfront and have some passion about something, which
very
your current
true.
status quo or your current status should not hindrance, because you can go online, you can have a lot of resources. There are so many free. For example, when I wanted to have a server of mine, which a bigger company can only afford. Today, I can go and buy a 4-hour server in, let's say, some 20 rupees, 30 rupees. So the infrastructure is available. Like you said, government also encouraging a lot. It is about you find the interesting area and start working on it. And the more and more you start working on it, the other ways you will find. There are a lot of things you think, oh, my product idea is not clear. Let me find funding. These questions will be automatically solved.
Right,
The moment you have something which is you are convinced, and you say, I am ready to put my efforts, energy, and focus into that.
right, right. Hello, hello.
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yes. Any questions are there still from the participants?
I think
Hello. Okay. So now we will move towards the conclusion of this session. So
yeah.
I'm very much, yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session and sharing your journey from industry to the startup. It was truly inspiring. So you have truly converted your passion and dream to your profession. So thanks for giving very nice message to the students that we should never underestimate. We should have patience. We should work on our skills, and we should never lose the hope. So thanks, sir, for very nice and motivating session. I would like to
Thank you,
declare here.
Jyoti, for organizing this.
Yes, yes, thanks. So I would like to declare one thing here also that Mr. Bhupesh, he has agreed to work with our students. He will be floating the industrial problems. He will be sharing the industrial problems with our students. And now this is the nice opportunity for our students to work in a close association with Mr. Bhupesh and his organization. So thanks, sir, for that particular support. I'm sure that we will prove VPKBIET students are best. So,
Absolutely, I'm pretty sure of that.
yeah, thank you, sir. So, yes. So, once again, on behalf of VPKBIT, I'm very much thankful to you for sparing your valuable time in guiding us and our students. So, I declare here that the session is over, and there is one announcement for the participants that they should please submit the feedback form which is shared by Dr. Gawande, sir. So, I declare here that the session is over. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
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 Thanks
काय
to
म्हणे संजय?
all the participants and faculty members who were present for this session. So all of you, please submit your feedback. Thanks.